Let's move on to the other home team that played last night, the Washington Redskins. They lose to Seattle. They were close, but from my vantage point, the only reason this game was close at all was because Seattle had 13 penalties for 90 yards. They gave him an entire football field to work with the game, okay? Or else it would have been a 3-touchdown separation. But in any case, the Redskins go to 1-4, lose their third straight. The question is it too early to write them off in the division with the Cowboys and Eagles playing so well, and the Giants, who may be the best team in the division right now? Dan, what do you think?
It's close, man. It's getting close to time to write them off, and it's been 5 games, but they're 3 games back of 2 different teams, and the teams ahead of them are all going to be playing each other. So there's a bunch of wins that they're automatically going to get. I mean, this was, for months, we were always saying that the saving grace of this Redskins team and their playoff chances were that they were in one of the weakest divisions in the league. And as always, we didn't know what was going to happen in the NFL. Things change around. I mean, it's no guarantee that the Cowboys and the Eagles, who both have had their issues, are going to keep winning games at this pace. But they already have a combined, the other 3 teams in the NFC East have a combined 4 losses. The Redskins have 4 losses by themselves.
Right.
So it's getting close. I mean, you lose a couple more games here, and basically you are essentially eliminated before the halfway point of the season. So,
are you ready to write them off yet, Scott?
Yeah, I think it's
that's pretty easy.
maybe before last week. I mean, they showed me something against Seattle. I did not expect it to be that close.
Yeah.
But it's like Dan said, it's looking less and less likely that 8-8 or 9-7 even is going to be good enough to compete in the NFC East. And I mean, the Redskins' schedule, it doesn't get a whole lot tougher.
Yeah, at Arizona, that's
right. And haven't played well going on the West Coast. So you got San Francisco and Indianapolis down the line.
Yeah.
I
Monday
don't
night
see
or in Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't
Neil,
see it competing.
Your thoughts on whether the Redskins are still they're a viable team to contend?
No, they haven't been for some time. Even before coming into Seattle. I mean, this is a team that wasn't that good. I mean, they had some pieces in place, but they weren't good enough to contend in the East. And they have maybe 3 wins left on the roster. I mean, you have Tennessee, you have Tampa Bay, and possibly St. Louis. I mean,
Tampa Bay, they pushed New Orleans.
Yeah,
New Orleans,
so I mean, that's not even a gimme.
Yeah.
And it's the Redskins have the worst record in the worst division in the NFL, and their last 3 games are against division opponents. I just don't see them having enough wins to be competitive once those 3 games at the end of the schedule come around.
I totally agree with you in general, but I think that they will certainly win some random games that you don't expect them to win at this point looking forward. Like, they're going to beat.
I mean, how many games? They're probably not going to beat San Francisco and Indianapolis. Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to win a random game.
They have Dallas.
So they're going to beat Minnesota. They're going to beat someone else.
I told you who they're going to beat. They're going to beat Dallas in Week 17 if the Cowboys have to win their game to go to the playoffs.
There you go.
There are no moral victories. We know that. But can the Redskins take anything away from the fact that they played the Super Bowl champions tight, or is it kind of a misleading score given how many penalties Seattle had?
I mean, tight. They lost by 10.
Yeah,
It wasn't like.
And Harvard had 3 touchdowns
That were
negated from penalties.
Yeah,
I mean,
as a fantasy guy, believe me, it was painful.
To me, the takeaway is how good Cousins and Deshaun Jackson look. I mean, they look like they've been playing a long time together, and they had some deep strikes, and that may even be the blueprint to beat Seattle going forward. Who knows? But I mean, that to me is the takeaway, and then that's also good news, bad news, right? The good news is that Kirk Cousins is playing well with the receivers that are on the roster. The bad news is, what does that mean for Robert Griffin III if and when he's healthy and comes back? I mean, because there was one play in particular that Cousins had that deep throw, and I put on Twitter that RG3 doesn't make that throw because he thinks to run first. He's already scrambling. He's going to run first, and then we don't even see that type of completion. So, I mean, that to me is at least the bright spot of the game, even though it was a loss.